So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and we're going to keep it very, very simple. And we want to make sure that we are right, to the point, straight to the point, keeping it simple. And also, I know that everybody is looking forward to the cocktails, so we will try to do it 30 to 35 minutes. But we also want it to be very interactive. So we're going to invite you to also ask questions and comments about how we can make this an amazing panel. All right, ladies. We'll start with Shweta, or shall we start with Shweta? Okay, great. So we have Shweta here. Shweta, you can introduce yourself again. Please highlight some of your key achievements, and how did you turn your challenges into opportunities?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. As Anju just said, my name is Shweta Sharma. My journey started a few years ago when I started Bachelor of Geospatial Science at USP. Of course, that's one of the courses that's in the field where it's dominated by males. And while entering that, I was, of course, warned that I might be facing challenges. And of course, I did. In the first year, there were small hurdles since people looked at us like, will females be able to do their fieldwork or carry that heavy equipment or stand in the sun for long hours? We just need opportunities. Trust me, we can prove them wrong. And so I did. In the second year, another challenge, my father passed away. That was really difficult for me. But yeah, I didn't let that stop me. In fact, I ended up getting the highest GPA in the whole School of Geography, Environments, and Earth Science. And I was the first GIS gold medalist at USP.
Whoa. So who wants a GIS specialist today?
And then I continued with my master's, and right after that I joined Telecom as a graduate trainee. And just in 3 years I changed multiple roles, and today I'm the senior GIS engineer there. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Shweta.
And for your second component, turning opportunities. Sorry, what was it again?
So how did you, you've talked about some of the challenges, but how did you turn that into opportunities? And maybe just give a few examples.
Yeah, so I think for us females sitting in the room, we have to go that extra mile to prove ourselves, to be taken seriously, because whenever we enter rooms or meetings, sometimes we are the only female there. So we have to have our voices heard, and for that we have to show exceptional work at every level, and then show to people what we are capable of achieving, what we are capable of showcasing. That will help, that will paint a picture to them of us that we are capable of that, and we are well deserving of our current roles.
Great, thank you. Gill. You've done so much work as an Indigenous business leader. Maybe you could also talk about some of your key achievements and how did you overcome some of the challenges?
Absolutely. But first, I must give my respect to my Creator, the people, the land and the seas and the air that I talk at today. My name's Gill Mailman, and I'd say I'm a first. I'm the first Aboriginal woman to be an electrician. It was back in the day, before the Safety Act. I come out of my time, this is how old I am, in 1985. When I started my apprenticeship, we didn't have a Safety Act. We didn't have a sexual harassment act. We didn't even have a racial discrimination act. So you can say I started, the other two didn't have a problem. It was the Safety Act that I was really worried about. I mean, part of my training was to stand in front of a motor and check with a welding glass a commutator to make sure it's all okay. They said it was a Faraday cage that I was surrounded by. It's a lie. It was a catcher's mitt. As it blows up and sends you back, this was what I was growing up at. It was pretty hard being the only female, but hey, the sexual harassment, well, they gave us steel caps, right? So we're pretty good, we had that. Discrimination, it didn't matter. They were trying to kill us all. Black, white or brindle, it didn't matter. It was our survival, you know. It was way before that. So I moved to Cairns and somehow this new industry was starting. Yes, I started from ground, the telecommunication industry in Australia. And it was actually, I was working in the wholesaling company. I was a bit before my time to be a lecky in Cairns. So they all got together and said, you're the one that's going to learn this and you're going to come back to Cairns and teach us. And that's what I did. From then, I knew we could do better. I wanted our infrastructure, especially within our buildings, to be really, really good. So I started my first company, Fibre Optics NQ, 25 years ago. 25 years ago it started up. And it has grown to really, really beautiful company that has women that are fibre terminators, that do our infrastructure. I've even got one in HR that when we need to, she'll come out and start terminating. And this to me is very, very important because I never, ever want to see a young woman have to go through what I went through. And so overcoming those challenges is self-belief in yourself. You know you can do this, and no matter what people put in front of you, we've got to walk forward because it's our young women that are coming, that are behind us, that I must elevate. And it's always been my passion to have women as splicers. Predominantly my mob, Aboriginal women.
Thank you so much, Gill. And also a round of applause to her and to all the female electricians, female engineers working behind the scene. And now we're going to go to Tenanoia. Tenanoia and I have known each other for 20 plus years. So we started the Pacific Women in ICT in 2005. So over to Tenanoia, key achievements, and also how did you overcome some of the challenges?
Thank you, Anju. I'm so happy that everyone stayed back for the last session, which is, I know it's trying to make it more interesting, but I know it's getting, tiring. But thank you for the opportunity. Well, I've been in the area, I've been in the field for quite some time. During the start of my career, I started on ICT and worked my way around until I get to the point where I now the CEO for Tuvalu Telecom. During the years, talking about challenges, people tend to ask me, what are the challenges during your journey as a IT telco person? I said, did you find that guys are annoying you? Like, are they doing like the stereotype kind of things? I'm like, you know what? I worked in my entire life with teams of men, and I didn't find anything strange at all, like any challenges that I come. It might be women. I don't know. It's a question that we should ask. Women go against women because my experience was different. The community, the teams that I work with was very supportive at the start of my career 20 years ago. And until now, it's still a supportive team. And the experience really grow. When they talk about challenges, I see challenges as an opportunity to grow me and position me to a point where people recognize that women can do it. So we take that, do cross projects, not to learn, but to contribute. And the most important part here, as a woman, you contribute to your community, you create value and give back to your community. And that's where they see you as a leader and a woman in technology. So that's.
And thanks to her and her team doing 4G and also the Google cable.
Oh, yes.
A round of applause. Michelle, love to hear your key achievements. I know you spoke on day one, but talk a bit about how, you've become CEO and also your achievements. Thanks.
Thank you. Is this on? Yes. Okay, so Michelle Impey. So how did I started out, I went off to uni and I did a Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting. And I went off to my first job as an accountant in a firm. And within the first week, I sat there looking around me thinking, what the hell have I done? this is so not for me. So that's nothing to do with anybody who loves an accounting role. Good on you. Not for me. So I actually just used the experience, and from that day forward, I've been in telco my entire career. I started out in BT, or British Telecom, and I was with them for over 15 years. I led a team across Asia Pacific and sat on the global leadership team for Unified Comms, and lived and worked in many, many countries. And from there, I moved into the wonderful Telstra, where I've been for the last 10 years. When I started out, I had a female boss, and she was as hard as nails. Everyone was terrified of her. And she just wasn't liked. And I started out thinking that I had to be like that. I had to be hard, I had to be, there and the one with all the answers. And then I realised, actually, that wasn't the way to be. The way to be was just to be me. And so I've really taken that on board throughout my entire career, is just to be true to myself, to be authentic, and to have a voice, to not feel confronted when in a room full of males, because that is the way it is in this industry. A lot is changing, and I'm really pleased to see that. But having had that first female boss, from there on in, I've had tremendous male mentors who have really helped with me and my confidence and opening doors and building relationships. And I think that's key. So for me, it's all about being me, grabbing opportunities. People aren't necessarily going to give them to you. You have to go after them. So that's probably the message that I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. And all to the role models, male role models. I also started my career, and I have to thank a lot of the male role models. And I have to say, Tanya's husband was the one who actually, Penny Singabalavu from USP, ITS, he was the one who actually did quite a lot of mentoring. So thanks to your husband, Tanya. Hebe. I hope I get something out of that. Hebe. You've done some great work, telecommunication sector, but also cybersecurity. Talk a bit about your achievements in Hong Kong, and also, some of the challenges that you had to overcome.
Okay, maybe let's start with my self-introduction first. As I'm Hebe, hello to see all of you, and it's my first time to come here. And I'm currently a lead analyst at the PCCW, and I'm specializing in the BSS and OSS optimization, data analytics, and digital transformation. And for the challenging that's in Hong Kong, I think telecommunication and tech industry is always man-dominant industry, as very few female in even in my team is only me as the female employee. So it's very challenging. So maybe I think it's some kind like the unconscious bias. Maybe nowadays the tech and the telecommunication industry is dominant by the man, and the woman maybe not comfortable to enter the sector. And then I think the opportunities, including my managers, Michael, and he also gave me many opportunities, such as giving me the exposures to the international event, as we mentioned earlier, the DTW Forum in Copenhagen in this year. And I think I would be very thankful for the opportunity. And also I'm changing my career transformation. Is from bachelor, I'm studying the tourism management. And now I'm pursuing the IT management in a master degree. So it's a huge difference and transformations for me. And so how can I overcome and adjusting the challenge I mentioned earlier, including the unconscious bias and the man-dominant industries I go through, from continuous learning, improvement, and to building my network with the women community, and joining different kinds of events, to collaborating and to communicating with the all gender of people. Yes, so I think I'm using this way to overcome it.
Thanks, Hebe. Now a round of applause for Michelle and Hebe. Great insights. Now, you've done so well. You've achieved so much. But how is it that we can support women and girls that are not able to attend these sort of forums or able to engage in the tech and the telecommunication sector, particularly women from the rural communities, the remote communities, persons like women and girls with disabilities, or even students? How do we engage more? Will you, Shweta?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, just before earlier this morning, I was talking to one of the government officials, and then I didn't know there was such an initiative, but they said they are going later this year. They are going to visit 4 schools in very rural communities, and they are going to educate them on software engineering and to promote women in ICT, which is a very good initiative. Round of applause for our visionist team for that. But that's just women in ICT. Of course, there are so many others there, and of course, there are so many islands out there where females are not given that opportunity because of limitations. They're not able to come on mainland to study. For various reasons, they might not have fundings or scholarships or such things, or maybe they're not aware of such opportunities even. Or maybe they are told that they just, and they don't have a career and they just end up being housewives or something. I'm sorry if it's offensive, but this is still true for some parts of Fiji. So I think we together, well, there are limitations in funding as discussed, but what we can do is probably get together different organizations, government, non-government, international, and sort of collab and then have outreach programs or awareness programs where we are able to reach out to young females, males even, and educate them that, that there are certain causes. Probably this can happen earlier in their high school days where they're able to make better decisions in their careers, and it's just not office jobs. This kind of job also exists for females even, and they can thrive in such areas. So yeah, outreach programs and stuff. And I think one more thing we can do is have dedicated, like targeted scholarship for females in these areas. So in that way, we'll be encouraging them. And of course, we as individuals, and if possible, we can form, groups on Slack or LinkedIn or whatever, and then share scholarship opportunities or our stories and motivate them. So these things will make a huge difference. It will have a ripple effect for sure.
You can turn around and just say, can you start working on a scholarship program here today for the women? For Gill.
I think my journey with the young ones started with IWH, Indigenous Wealth Hub. This was created to support and help bring up Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Through that, for the last 2 years, I've been living with the poorest of the poor in Australia. I've lived in Umbludawitch, Alpaloolam, Camberwell, Palm Island. These are the poorest of the poor. In Umbludawitch, there's raw sewage raining down the street. There are young women that have got nothing, and it is so heartbreaking to see this. My job, and I will do this, is to help these women walk out of where they are to where they can be. In whatever way we can do that. It is giving them as being there, and is teaching them to be leaders within themselves, to actually work, unfortunately, DV is really high, really, very, very high. Like, as an Aboriginal woman, 100% of my friends have suffered this through employment. Through being able to have your own money. This is how a young woman can come out of where she is now to a better life. And that is my goal for the rest of my life, to making sure our young women stand proud in who they are, and that we all move forward together and nobody gets left behind. That's what IWH is about. I've to women construction, to construction. I've taught them to terminate fibre. I've taught, through my life it's been passing on my knowledge. Isn't that? We are custodians of the knowledge we got. And I'm at that age, I'm 60 now. My job is to pass that knowledge on. And that is what I believe is how I'm supporting the young ones coming through, as a role model and someone that we're going to do this together.
Thank you for being a role model and also mentoring a lot of these women. And I like the aspect about the business proposition, education, outreach to support a lot of the women that are struggling. Thank you so much, Gill. Tenanoia.
I would take it from a different perspective now. Coming to this role as a woman, I've been in networking, from IT support officer up to this level, and I see that we need to build a platform, not just for women, for everyone, children, and everybody that is capable of rolling on this platform. So the work that we were doing in the past 4 years while I was in this position, we were trying to build a more robust infrastructure in Tuvalu. We've been the country that's been the last to connect, I think, second or the last one in the Pacific to connect to submarine cable. And I am proud to say that last year, at the end of the year, December, we landed our first submarine cable in, which is going to change the entire setting for my country. And the fact that we are trying to build this infrastructure, not just the cable coming in, as a late adopter of the technology, we get to the point where we benefit advantage from other Pacific Island countries. We are learning from their lessons. We are building our infrastructure and waiting for the cable to come in. So once the cable is ready for service, we now have built, with the help of our partners, which is a very important aspect of what we're building, contributing to the development of ICT and telecoms industry in Tuvalu. We built a network where we extended 4G LTE services to the rest of the islands for Tuvalu. We built FTTP to the home, currently under deployment. And of course, with thanks to the partners who comes in and help and build capacity in the country with the mentality that the skills will be maintained in the country and people can sustain and maintain the network. And building that capacity, not just for people in the main island, but our focus is those in the remote islands. Those are disadvantaged from all of this, the advancement in technology. So we build this infrastructure, and now we have options for redundancy. We have satellite community gateway in place, which really provides flexibility and redundancy for our for the nation. So what we're trying to do now, that we have built this infrastructure well, we are looking at ways that we can leverage technology, because we have very limited resources, to use technology as a platform to create value, give opportunities to girls, young people in the country, in the remote areas, to participate in this digital age and create value, contribute back to their family. I know we don't have resources. People are going out of the country. How can we create that, that opportunity for these people to remain in the country? We love our homes. We want to stay in our homes. So how can we use technology to leverage and get the benefit out of this? Saying that, we created, out of passion as a woman, we created what we call Women for Change in Tuvalu. So this is a non-profit organization where we provide support for our students, children, in terms of ICT trainings and keeping themselves safe in the cyber world. So we also provide trainings in partnership with our partners from international and also in the region. So I think that we build that infrastructure and we contribute in one way or the other, but we make sure that women, children can access this as tools to leverage technology.
Perfect. Partnership, building capacity, local capacity is so important, particularly to deal with the brain drain issues. Thank you so much, Tenanoia. Michelle.
I completely agree with you, and I think that to one of the earlier conversations, we really need to look to ways to how do we fast track some of these access approvals in some of these more remote communities, particularly in Australia as well, so that we can get the digital devices in the girls' hands at a young age and it becomes a new norm for them. And actually they learn to communicate and to associate with digital infrastructure and digital, they've got more awareness. In Telstra has announced that by 2030 they want to have a 40-40-20 rule, and that's 40% men, 40% women, and 20% other. There's a way to go there, but I think it's great that large companies like Telstra, are actually putting themselves out there and working towards that. We also have a Women in Tech program, and I think one of the keys, and I think something that Telstra does quite well, is that their graduate program. We need to harness these ladies and these young girls from an early age and show them what digital and telco and IT is all about. And actually, throughout the selection process in the last year, 50% of the graduates chosen were women. So I think that we are coming a long way. I think there's a lot more to do. But I think that it's just, again, about having that conversation day in, day out and making it real for these people and giving them access to mentors and other leaders and discussion groups, etc., where they can feel comfortable to learn and grow. So I'm personally a mentor for a number of girls, and as I near the end of my career, it's probably one of the best things that I do. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I tell you what, there's some smart girls coming through out there, so good luck to all of them.
Awesome. Mentoring, coaching is so important. Thank you so much, Michelle. Hebe.
Hi. Regarding the remote areas for the maybe young women or some women who are unable to in touch of the technologies or tech education, as in Hong Kong is not very applicable, as Hong Kong is just a very small city, as I would like to share some background to you first. And our company, Hong Kong T, is already has the 99% coverage in Hong Kong. So we have, I think that if the women in tech maybe can richness is more broad, can refer or reference to our case, which means to build the infrastructure to have many fibers to the outlying island in our case, and to enabling and to make sure the digital inclusiveness is cannot cause to every gender and not only male or female, but it's everyone. And also, I think we can, if we already build up on the infrastructures and fiber to enable them to access on the internet, and then we can go through the STEAM education side, as educations will be a very important part in nowadays, as people may not know about the advanced technology is changing, and women is able to using the advanced technologies to maybe to further develop their specialists or their skills and capabilities. So I think the most important is a countries may need to build up their own infrastructures and ensuring the fiber is across the whole country, and the STEM education is very important as well.
Thank you. Education is key. Thank you so much, Hebe. Now, I did say that we're going to keep it very short and to the point. I'm going to turn to the audience because this is a collective effort. We cannot do things on our own, but you are here. How is it that we can all work together to support more women and girls in this sector? And also, what is it that we can start today? So, open floor. And if you have any questions or comments for the team, for our amazing trailblazers, please feel free to ask. Come on, guys. Don't be scared of us. It's a long day. At least one or two, come on. Collective effort. Oh, there's one there, Avish, Save, Fiji, winning. Anyone else? Philip. Okay, so Save, Avish, Philip.
Thank you very much, ladies, for the very insightful presentation. I have worked with a few women, especially in cybersecurity, and they have this nature of being very meticulous in everything they worked on, they put their hands on. Now, using that nature, how you can see or encourage women to be more effective, or how they can draw that as an asset to this world of telecommunication and ICT.
Anyone?
That was how women can be an asset within the communication industry.
Yes, using that nature of being very meticulous in everything that you guys do, knowing that we have a lot of challenges in the world and around ICT and cybersecurity, how that can be an asset to that, addressing those kind of issues.
I think what I see is women in the industry must be a woman. Don't try and be a man, be a woman. Because we bring our own skill sets. We're the nurturers, we're the carers, we're the ones that are going to make sure that job looks absolutely 100%. Because that's what we do. We are not necessarily the grunt work or everything like that, but we as women bring this finishing stage, this polished stage, authenticity, perfect. That's what we bring.
Thank you. Being intentional, authentic, and I would say that a lot of these women are assets because they are doers, right? And we want those doers because they get things done. So no matter whether it's cybersecurity or any other sectors, but engaging them in a lot of the discussions right from the top to the grassroots is very key. A lot of discussions happen here, but doesn't go down to the grassroots. Anyone else before because there's 2 or 3 more questions. Philip. Oh, Avish.
Okay, thanks, Anju. And I think seeing Anju moderate all these panels is sort of something which should inspire the girls on its own to start with. And I think I commend Anju especially for your involvement in women in tech as well, and seeing how we are progressing. So just touching on what Shweta had mentioned, everybody talks about sort of empowering our young females to take up this ICT roles and professional roles. And what I want all of us, especially with all the companies which are present here today, to encourage you, and I've seen this year, I saw that Vodafone, TFL, they actually did a lot of awareness when it was Girls in ICT Week. So they were showcasing that we have a lot of women who are working in the telecom space, and it's more about transitioning this to the school levels. So before the key time, when we were in high school, we were like, from when you're in Form 5 and onwards, so that's where you make the decision of, okay, I need to go into this field. So hitting this right and getting to reach these young females at the right time, and seeing that they have potential, and seeing that a 13-year-old male and a 13-year-old both hold the same mobile device. And I think there is no need. I think a couple of years back, there was more of the ICT being related to hardware. It is no longer a case. You could have an equally capable female software developer, and you can have an equally capable male software developer. And it's basically 2 persons in front of a computer. I don't think there needs to be any gender disparity around it. So it's just that we need to share this knowledge with our younger females to see is that this is a very lucrative field as well. A software developer can earn more than a doctor. and you see, and actually sometimes it's even more of a challenging role. And there's a lot of output in it. You can get a lot of recognition. You can do a lot for your country while being in the ICT space. And that's all including network engineering and all of the other things. So I'd encourage all companies here today, be part of these initiatives, like the Women in Tech, like the Girls in ICT initiatives. And not only in terms of sponsorship, but being examples of how women are involved in your sector, how they can sort of help grow the sector. And and I agree with what Save said, there's these traits, I think women can make great software developers. And when we go for recruitment, if you get 10 male applicants for a software developer, you get 1 female applicant here in Fiji at least. And I think that's one of the key things. So yeah, and a lot of kudos to the ladies out there as well, Tenanoia as well. And she does lovely work for Tuvalu.
Thank you, Avish. Do you want to comment on Avish? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a pretty good comment from that end. I mean, you see that women, I'm talking about Pacific Islands, when we want to explore and get more women to tech, 80% of applications are men. Sometimes 99% applicants are men. How can we motivate women with IT? Because we know that in the Pacific, there are people who are sitting there, permanent secretaries, but the foundational background is IT and telco. But because they don't have the courage to move forward, how can we create that space to allow them to believe in themselves? So I always see visibility is power. So for leaders or mentors who are now at position where young ones can look at you are in the tech space, they see that they can belong. They can belong to something. And it's very important to get that mindset across, not just in the urban areas, but right down to the community level at the rural areas and the islands and the remote areas.
Thanks, Noia. Philip, and then we've got Paul. Paul, did you want to? Yeah, okay.
Thanks. Vodafone Cook Islands, we have 51% of our staff are women, and this is reflected through all layers of the company, middle management, senior management, and the senior leadership team. But this morning I was very concerned as we were running a parallel training session this morning at the Sheraton. We had about 40 trainees and 1 woman. And I made the comment at the opening this morning is we only have 1 woman amongst 40 trainees. How can we fix that? Because having women in my company is business as usual. So I was quite surprised to see that ratio being as concerning as it was this morning.
Thanks, Phil. Any comments for Phil?
I think it's an interesting question at Hong Kong T, as we have different leadership and mentorship program for the maybe graduate students to allowing them to use to build their confidence through our professional in the program and to join our company in the future. So I think to attract them can using this kind of the mentorship and the internship program, and also as I think we can use some intense incentive STEM education to allowing the organization maybe to collaborating with some education institutions to attract the women and the young girls to enter the industry as well. Yes.
Thanks, Hebe. Paul.
Yeah, hi. I'm going to change the subject just a little bit, okay, not too much. But as a male that's been in the industry for more than 50 years.
How many?
More than 50, young lady, yes. One of the biggest challenges I have faced is balancing my home life with my work. Now, you have a different set of challenges than I have. How are you going to address that?
Good question. Michelle or Shweta?
From a personal perspective, when I first started out in my career with British Telecom, I probably spent more time on a plane than I did at home, and I had a wee young one. I think that I was incredibly lucky with my parents as support. And I remember at the time I used to be on conference calls late at night when I was at home. And the poor little thing, I'd give him a bowl of lollies and say, yeah, Mum won't be long. Dad will be home soon. But I think that Telstra's very flexible, and Australia's moving to a far more flexible working environment now. It's Telstra's mantra is it's not where you work, it's how you work. So we do really encourage that flexible working. We have gender neutral paid parental leave now as well. So I think we're moving in the right steps towards that, but I think it needs to be supported and rolled out. But I think the biggest thing as well is the guilt. You have to overcome that fear of guilt that you're actually out at work, enjoying work, contributing, and knowing that your son or daughter is at home and being well taken care of. It's a challenge, but yeah, I think we all need to give each other a break and be understanding of that.
Well, I think Michelle has really said it all, but I just want to add, yeah, as you said, like, your support system needs to be very strong. Your parents, your partners, you can only thrive if they are supportive. I was able to thrive because my mom was supportive, my partner was supportive. People at work were really supportive. CTO is sitting there, CEO is sitting there. They have always been very supportive. That's the reason why we are able to achieve this. But together with that, of course, we women probably juggle to more than in comparison to men. And we are all fighting our own battles while even during meetings or while making reports or capturing data, like what are we going to cook at home, or our kids need attention or whatever. Probably what we do is we try to manage our time. We try to give each and everybody equal attention, each and every issue equal attention. Like when we're at home, even though we are thinking of, what am I going to do in tomorrow's meeting, we try to have at the back of my mind that, okay, I need to help my little sister with her assignment or whatever, I need to give her the time. Yeah, we need to be flexible. And I think we can make things better by having more family care leaves. Probably government can take on such initiatives. Over to you, Anju.
Lots of great opportunities, but I would say kava and alcohol makes a difference. Because if you want to balance it, you need that for to be real. Okay, so we are now at the end of the panel discussion, and I know there's some question, but I'm not sure. Can we allow for questions? This is a great session, right? Please, sir.
Yes. Yeah, I'm also from Hong Kong. Just to echo that gentleman's, his company having 51% of female staff, and actually now PCCW also has about 42% of female staff. But back in my era, when I first joined PCCW about 40 years ago, there was about 7% of staff were female in the telecom industry or in the telecom operator. So, and also in Hong Kong in the past decade, we had our first chief executive of the government, and also our the director general of the regulator, the first female one. And also, just 7 years ago, we also had our current chief executive in the Hong Kong Telecom. That's also PCCW, our operator. So, and I just wonder why, and also in Hong Kong, the 9 universities also offer quite a lot of scholarships and a lot of things to not only male and also female, and to enroll in a lot of technology or technical enrollments, but still, I still see for those technical courses, the male to female ratio is still about 3:1, yeah, more or less today. And just wonder whether will there be any qualities or maybe is there any psychological disorders inside the female? I might be saying that. Hindering you to enroll in technical courses rather than in traditional arts or some sort of music or some sort of other courses, which most would find that those would be interested by female and tech would be likely interested by men. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether anyone will respond to this.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that part, the last part, but I actually want to throw back that question to you and Phil from the Cooks, because it's amazing to know the percentage of women in your companies. What makes them motivated to come and work for your company? I mean, it's a good learning lesson for others to get. Their boss. All right, great answers.
No further questions or comments? All right, I do want to say before we end, thank you to each and every one of you. Most of you are role models and mentors for a lot of the women and girls. Telecom sector, Charles, Vodafone. We also have Eleanor from Vodafone, right? We also have Digicel. I mean, lots of different players in the region that have supported women and girls, and we want to acknowledge you as well. But also the women that are here, not at this stage, on the stage, but to most of you that have done so well in this industry. We need to all work together to find collective way to support more women and girls. So round of applause to all the beautiful and amazing women here. And round of applause to the men and the male models, male role models, not the models, male role models. Because of you, we are very, very grateful that there's a lot of things that are happening, like Phil mentioned. And sir, I'm sorry I don't know your name, but my apologies, more networking tonight. But we need to have more of those statistics, and we need to see more of those. So thank you so much, and round of applause to our amazing speakers. Ladies, thank you so much.